For years, rumors have swirled around Jay-Z about a secret son. Now, it looks like the truth might finally be catching up with him. What began as hushed whispers has erupted into a full-scale legal battle. Meanwhile, Beyoncé is reportedly doing everything possible to keep the situation from spiraling out of control.
Yes, that way. Was that ever pursued?
Yes, I actually talked to her a couple times. Lakeisha, I actually was talking to her a couple years ago. Everything was seeming great, we was communicating. And then the communication just stopped,
Let's rewind to the start. For more than 10 years, a man named Rymir Carter has claimed Jay-Z is his biological father. While the claim itself isn't new, what's changed is how far it's progressed. After years of avoidance, a court has now ordered Jay-Z to provide a DNA sample. For Rymir, now an adult, this could be the long-awaited moment of closure he's been seeking for most of his life.
I think the girl like Tasha K, she got a Jay-Z son on there.
Oh, his alleged son?
No. If you talk to him personally, that's his son.
You think that's his son?
Yeah. You know what I think his son? First of all, Jay-Z offered him money. At first he offered him bread, and everything, but his aunt, this is like his caretaker didn't approve of it. She said no. Jay-Z got a lien on her house, all type of shit that was going on. Yeah, the lady put up paperwork and everything with his name on it and all that. I mean, but Youngboy's so thorough though. He just want a dad. He not trying to get no money. He not trying to do none of that. I mean, that's why. So I told him when he called me 2 years ago, I said, listen, I don't want to be the one to tell your story because they're going to think I'm trying to catch rep off of it. So let me let you tell your story somewhere else first, then I can talk about it. But he called me 2 years ago telling me I said, oh, young boy. He's like, I just want a dad. I don't want no money. I'm already 18. I think he was like 20 something at the time. But something happened to him and I was like, yo, that sounds kind of weird. He said he was coming out from work, going to work, and there was a gun in his car. When he opened the door, he seen the gun. He said he went to go call his man, yo, did you leave a gun in my car? His man's like, no. He said, why you on the phone talking to his man? The cops pull up and lock him up. He said, he's telling the cops, no, that's not my gun. He's like, so he went in the building he was in and they seen that somebody pulled up and put the guns in his car.
Oh.
And pulled off. I said, bro, I don't know nobody in the hood that got guns to just waste like that to do that. I don't know. He's like, yeah, so Jay-Z had a gag order against him, trying to get a gag order and trying to. If my thing is, if it's not my son, I'll just take a test, get over with.
Yeah.
The fact that you did dodge it and whatever, to me, I
don't nobody want to talk about the other kids that everybody denies don't exist and whatever. To be a billionaire that can't get a loan is one thing. But to be a broke billionaire and a deadbeat dad, that's something different.
Yeah. Even Solange's son, the Daniel kid, he says he doesn't have a great relationship with Beyonce, Jay-Z. What do you feel someone coming out saying, hey, Jay-Z's my father? What does that person want from a Hov if he's saying he does not care?
Prove that his mother wasn't a liar, because that's what they said his entire life while she was alive. Denying him makes her a liar. That woman was on the phone with the judge who was harassing her, telling her, demanding that she stop filing for paternity when she gave way and died. His mama died on the phone. Trying to get proper acknowledgement for him. If your mama died like that, would you just sit around and let people keep calling her a liar? That's how your mama died, with a judge yelling at her. And turns out now, all of these judges were bought off and paid off, and they're going to be looking at sanctions and probably charges. Because what they did was illegal.
Two sources close to the situation. Beyoncé's involvement may be deeper than most realize. Someone familiar with her inner circle reportedly heard her dismiss the matter with a phrase like, "Go away, little boy." While this is hearsay, there's no doubt the secret has been tightly guarded. Insiders say Beyoncé has been working hard behind the scenes to keep everything under wraps, not because she doubts Jay-Z's past, but because confirming the child would threaten the flawless image they've carefully crafted together. Consider it. Beyonce and Jay-Z are known as the ultimate power couple. Their brand, family, and legacy all hinge on maintaining that perfect facade. But now, that image might be seriously at risk, and it appears they've been trying to keep it hidden for a long time.
And y'all know it is not all roses and fairies in the Carter household. Beyonce has also dealt with a lot of mental health issues, a lot of depression, allegedly alcoholism, allegedly. And I said that real low. If you caught it, you caught it. If you didn't, you didn't. Allegedly. But nonetheless, yeah, we're seeing the decline of this marriage / relationship. And when his tea come out, I really want to know how they gonna navigate this. Look at her during the Fantasia performance. She looked weird and skinny. Where you get all, I can't tell you where I get all the spicy tea. Allegedly. And let me say this too, between the stress, the money, the spiritual work, it's a lot going on. It's a lot going on. Why do they? I don't want to talk about nobody kids. You said, why do they never show the son? Because I can't. They don't really show the son much. They focus mostly on Blue or Rumi because they know that the internet is a really cruel place. They know that people are really cruel, and so they would just rather not. And that's all
If this situation with Rymir were to surface, it could bring major trouble for the Carters.
What I've heard about them as a couple is that they've been living separate lives for a very long time. So they together, but they living separate. And part of the reason why they're already living separate lives, and we may actually see one of the biggest divorces in Hollywood, is because Jay-Z is up next to be exposed. And it's only so much of these stories that Jay-Z can, he can pay off or he can block. He won't be able to stop this. And she knows it and he knows it too. As far as who's gonna be the breakout victim / story, I don't know. Yeah, I might have to ask Jason Lee. I don't know. But I'm just letting you know that once that comes out and Jay-Z is exposed for his nefarious past, you're going to see Beyonce divorce him. Okay. And she may or may not do an interview, but you're going to, their publicist is going to release something. She's going to say, oh, the Carters have been separated for some time. They built this beautiful life, blah, 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 blah. Now, before all this happens, we may get another tour. We may get another album out of both of them. I don't know. Cause at the end of the day, they about their money first. They're going to do what's best for business first. As far as Beyonce is concerned, do she love him? I mean, he's really all that she knows. She was ready to leave him years ago, but the industry it's different. And I don't want to say it's an Illuminati contract because I don't know how the Illuminati get down. I really don't know. And I'm not going to lie to you and say I do. But essentially, she's been stuck, right? But I believe this is going to be her chance to get out. And according to what I heard, if certain things that I can't even speak on come out, she gone. She's going to protect her image. All right. And this, I mean, I don't know what would be the bigger divorce, Will and Jada or Beyonce and Jay-Z. But just know everybody's going to be talking about it. TMZ's going to talk about it first, and we're going to be talking about it probably for 6 months.
That story gets even more tangled when you examine the timeline. Rymir's mother, Wanda, reportedly met Jay-Z in the early 90s, long before Beyonce entered the picture. Wanda was a teenager then, while Jay-Z was in his early 20s. They allegedly had a brief encounter, after which Wanda became pregnant. Jay-Z was already focused on building his music career, and Wanda didn't have his true contact details, making it difficult to reach him. Then things got complicated. Wanda gave birth while in a relationship with another man named Robert, who signed the birth certificate. Reports say Robert knew the child wasn't his, but signed anyway, possibly to help Wanda qualify for public assistance. Wanda was still recovering from childbirth and reportedly unaware he had signed. Rymir says he found out the truth around age 8 when his mom sat him down and revealed Jay-Z was his biological father. Not long after, Wanda passed away, but before that, she signed a sworn affidavit affirming Jay-Z as the father, a document that's now central to a long-standing legal battle.
And Rymir, right? Rymir Stoudemire is his name. We'll pull his name back up. The alleged son, which I'm not gonna lie to y'all, I've talked to his godmother, you know. Oh, I said his name complete. Who the hell is Stoudemire? Satterthwaite. All right, Rymir Satterthwaite. Jay-Z's alleged son, and I have to say alleged because I have to say alleged. But just so you guys know, this part is not alleged. Jay-Z and his team, they have been ducking and dodging taking the DNA test. They've been trying to block all of the work that Rymir's godmother, Lily Cooley, is doing in the court. Because, well, if this truth comes out, and I mean like come out on all platforms, basically we're going to know that Jay-Z was messing around with Rymir's mother when she was a teenager and he was a grown-ass man. Rymir's biological mother is now deceased. May she rest in peace. But nonetheless, she gave birth to Rymir in high school. Jay-Z was a grown man. You put 2 and 2 together, okay? But Jay-Z and his team been blocking him in court every which way, paying off people in the courts, allegedly, right? In addition to that, when the story about Rymir first actually broke on Daily Mail, because Daily Mail actually broke that story, Jay-Z sued him, put him in litigation. So, you know, the story's out there, but it's really not out there, and a lot of people don't touch it. Which I gotta know too is that when it comes to media is corrupt. Like, most media is owned by 5 companies. But even when you talk about like independent media, a lot of us are corrupt, right? A lot of people want an invitation to the Rock Nation brunch. They want to work with this publicist. They want to work with that person. They want this interview or that interview. So a lot of times they choose not to cover certain stories to protect certain relationships. It just is.
With the support of his legal guardian, Lily Cooley, Rymir filed a civil lawsuit against Jay-Z in 2014. They claim to have spent years trying to get Jay-Z to take a DNA test, but faced constant setbacks, including allegations of fraud, legal roadblocks, and attempts to dismiss the case. This is where Beyonce reportedly comes back into the picture. Some sources say she urged Jay-Z to keep the matter under wraps, especially after learning more about the timeline. From her perspective, it wasn't just a private issue, it risked drawing unwanted attention. Given how many public figures in the industry struggle with legal and reputation battles, the Carters likely viewed this as a serious threat to their carefully crafted image. Meanwhile, Jaguar Wright has claimed Beyonce has been managing damage control for some time and even suggested she's pretending. Blue Ivy is her daughter.
Couldn't get pregnant. Not naturally, not normally. What I do know is this. When Beyonce got on that stage with that fake baby bump,
oh yeah,
it was lined up with the same timing of where Kathy White would have been in her second trimester. And when we all watched her get on TV with that fake pregnancy belly that folded over,
yep,
she sat down. The timeline of when she delivered Blue Ivy lines up almost perfect with the timeline of when Kathy White would have delivered.
Wow.
We all know that Blue Ivy came from a surrogate.
Yep.
They shut that hospital down like a president had just been. And parents who had just had children themselves weren't even allowed to see their own kids for 24 hours.
They bounced my family up the 6th floor and from the waiting room and made them go downstairs and get her.
There's a lot of us that are coming together to deal with this issue. This is not by any means just us.
Because of the security that was locking that whole thing down.
$1.3 million is alleged that Beyonce and Jay-Z, the Carters, paid this hospital to have the right to have their baby there in complete secrecy and privacy.
Okay, so the surrogate was carried out. No one heard her speak a word.
Do we know if the surrogate was alive?
They typically turn some of the cameras off so that there was no pictures.
Rymir has repeatedly said he's not after Jay-Z's money or fame, but simply wants the truth. Many have questioned his intentions. He works 2 jobs, supports himself, and insists this isn't a publicity stunt. My whole thing was just to see who my father was, he said in one interview. Now, with the court ordering a DNA test, that answer might finally be within reach. What's intriguing is that Rymir seems to be 2 steps ahead. He's already attempted a DNA test with a woman rumored to be Jay-Z's firstborn.
That's the last time I heard from her. She wanted to do a test with me, and it got sent to the house when I was in Jersey. I don't want to give the address we was at, but it got sent to the house. My godmother, she told me this is what I needed to do. I pulled it out. I had to spit in it, fill it up to a certain line, shake it. It came with 2 different tubes and all that. I put it in a box and shipped it back off, and never heard anything else.
And I've never seen a photo of her. Do you guys have resemblances?
I wouldn't. I mean, I would think so. I did see a couple photos. I would say I look like her in some ways, or she looks like me. But I can't fully say that. I don't know. So it just would be
The test confirms Rymir's claim. The fallout could be massive. It would reveal that Jay-Z had a son before his publicly known children, and might imply that Beyonce knew more than she let on, choosing to keep the secret to protect their family's reputation. Surprisingly, some sources say Jay-Z was once open to building a relationship with Rymir. However, when Beyonce allegedly learned the full story, including Wanda's young age during their encounter, she reportedly insisted on keeping the situation out of the public eye, move very much in line with how Beyonce operates.
Clear. The Cowboy Carter album is a piece of shit. But for the baby to win Album of the Year for Cowboy Carter, let's talk about how wrong that is. Why? Did the Grammys feel the need to pick up her self-esteem a little bit because the Country Music Awards didn't embrace that project? Is everybody forgetting that? It's supposed to be a country album, and it wasn't acknowledged by any of the country community. But now that she won Grammy Album of the Year,
I don't want to embarrass this young lady, but she has more Grammys than everyone and never won Album of the Year.
The only thing the Grammys just did is prove how irrelevant a Grammy is. Because giving her a Grammy Award for that piece, and the simple fact that songs like Daughter,
Bathroom attendant, let me right in,
was on that album. Have we forgotten? Siri, I need the lyrics for Beyonce.
Next voice note. With the court deadline for the DNA test fast approaching, tough questions are being raised. Why wasn't this resolved years ago? Why did it take so many legal battles and so much silence? And perhaps the biggest question, how much did Beyonce really know? Sources close to the situation suggest Beyonce may have been more involved behind the scenes than most realized. With the court finally stepping in, keeping these secrets hidden is becoming increasingly difficult. Here's the breakdown. Reports say Rymir and Lily accused both Jay-Z and Beyonce of using their influence to block the DNA test. Even more shocking, they filed legal complaints against their own attorneys, alleging those lawyers worked against them rather than supporting their case.
So in January of 2022, a New Jersey judge issued an order prohibiting Rymir, his mother, and his godmother from being able to file anything in the state of New Jersey without the judge first reviewing and determining that it was filed properly with proper claims and proper requests for relief. And then the judge sent this order prohibiting them from filing anything, basically across all of New Jersey. So everybody was aware that they can't do that. And from there, Rymir, his mom, and his godmother sued the courts. Like literally sued New Jersey Supreme Court and judges in both Pennsylvania and New Jersey. But those lawsuits were dismissed with prejudice.
They believed the attorneys had secret communications with JC's legal team, making decisions behind closed doors that undermined Rymir's case. Lily alleges these lawyers committed major procedural errors, not just minor mistakes, but critical blunders that completely derailed their legal efforts. As a result, a Philadelphia court eventually dismissed the case. Meanwhile, Jay-Z appeared to address the situation in his music. In his song Heard About You, referenced Billie Jean with the line, "The kid ain't mine," which many saw as a direct nod to Rymir's paternity claim. He followed it with, "Every day I'm getting sued. I show up to court without a suit." Whether subtle or not, these lyrics were widely interpreted as a denial, adding more tension to an already charged case. But now, the tides seem to be turning.